Today's meditation is something I read, and I want to share it with you. As we begin, it is not necessary to go deep. Just close your eyes and listen. Prepare yourself by taking a deep cleansing breath in and release any tension you may feel. I just need you to relax and listen. Dear God, we join in prayer to celebrate this nation and surrender its destiny to you. We give you thanks in our hearts for the founding of this country. We give thanks for and bless the souls of those who came before us to found this nation, to nurture, and to save it. We ask that God's Spirit now fill our hearts with righteousness. May we play our part in the healing of this country. May we be cleansed of all destructive thoughts. May judgment of others, bigotry, racism, and intolerance be washed clean from our hearts. May our minds be filled with the thoughts of God, His unconditional love, and His acceptance of all people. May this nation be forgiven its transgressions against the African American, the Native American, and those seeking its shelter. May our lives be turned into instruments of resurrection, that the sins of those gone before us be reversed through us. May the beauty and the greatness of this land burst forth once again in the hearts of its people. May we once again live in honesty and integrity and excellence with our neighbors. May this country once again become a light unto all nations of hope, goodness, peace, and freedom. May violence and darkness be cast out of our midst. May hatred no longer find fertile ground in which to grow. May all of us feel God's grace upon us. Reignite, dear God, the spirit of truth in America. May our nation be given a new light, the sacred fire that once shone so bright from shore to shore. May we be repaired. May we be forgiven. May all of us feel safe. May we become torchbearers once again for what is right. Dear God, please bless America. Amen, and so it is. Our choir director here, who had us all going. Thank you all for being here. It's my privilege. Thank you, Laura, for having me come and speak. I know you just hired a minister, and so hopefully he takes a vacation and I can come back. A couple things. I always start my lesson with a joke, and Wednesday it'll be my husband and I, our 53rd anniversary. Thank you. And so he says, I'd really like to go someplace different this year. And I said, why don't you try the kitchen? true. Enough about me, but guess what? This week in Sports Illustrated, Madison was named the best college football town in America. And before I get into my lesson, I want to say you're doing yourself a big, healthy bonus to yourself for being here today. A 2003 study at Duke University demonstrated that a cytokine called interleukin 6 in blood was significantly lower among persons who attended church service. Higher IL-6 levels indicate a weakened immune system. So if you're attending church, you're strengthening your immune system. Yeah. And I, for one, am glad to have been introduced to this church and to my friend Josie, who is, last time I was here, I was telling her about my struggles in finding a place to live. Not that there's not enough places to live, but when did rents get so high in southeast Wisconsin? Holy cow. So she handed me this, said, "It is my undeniable faith that that is the electromagnetic charge that pulls in my new home now. List everything you want, feel it, and so it is." And so thank you, Josie. I've narrowed it down, so we'll be moving soon. Thank you. So you never know where your good's going to come from. Some of you have been to my retreats, and I give out some self-help material, and one of them is called 10 Daily Habits of Highly Effective Me. You've had them, and I won't go into that. Today I'm going to talk about 10 things I think you should do on a daily basis to empower your life. These 10 things we need to stop doing in our life. No particular order here. We all came at this time in history for a purpose. We were spirits, having a great time in spirit world, and decided to come once again to contribute our gifts. How each of us has either manifested or complicated our assignment is due to how well we learned the lessons presented to us. So in no particular order, again, I'm going to do 10 things we need to stop doing. And I'll tell you why at the end of my lesson. No particular order. Stop. Number 1, stop beating yourself up for whatever. We all have a list. Accept yourself as is, warts and all. You are imperfectly perfect. Accept yourself, because in accepting yourself, you are accepting the God mind that created you. And who would argue with God? And how cool is that? That the same God who created the galaxies and the mountains and the oceans saw that all and decided that it needed one of you too. Number 2, stop thinking from your ego. You know what ego means? Edging God out. Everybody knows that. Everybody wants to know what their purpose is, and I'll tell you what your purpose is in a nutshell. What is it that you do that when you do it, you lose track of time? That is your purpose and your sole reason for reincarnating. God wants you to know who you are and experience that. My purpose is to read and share. That's all. I just read and share. That's my purpose. You know, somebody else's purpose is to cure cancer or go to the moon. What is it that you do that when you do it, you lose track of time? That's all you need to know for your purpose. Think about that the next time you're lost and say, what am I contributing? Each of us came here to embrace a mission which allows us to express aspects of our divinity. You are asked in completing your mission not to do it in ego form. Ego is a cover-up. What you consider your body is what you have garnered through ingestion. What you consider your mind is what you have gathered through the five senses. What is beyond that is who you are. You are spirit, you are spirit, you are spirit. Ego is body and simply the way you get around, simply the way the spirit gets around in a physical world. The expression of God in you is a verb, not a noun. The verb is energy, and the noun is person, place, thing, or object. You are the verb, not the noun, and that's what separates the believer, which is religious, from the knower, which is spiritual. Albert Einstein said, "We are slowed down sound and light waves, a walking bundle of frequencies turned into the cosmos. We are soul dressed up in sacred biochemical garments, and our bodies are the instruments through which our souls play their music." Who's going to argue with the smartest man in the world, right? Number 3, stop wasting time. How much of it do you think you have? Do it now for God's sake, or stop wanting it. Look what Ari did. He's my go-to mantra. When you incarnated, you planned your life's entrance and exit. But as ego, you don't remember. Again, do it now for God's sake, or stop wanting it. How much time do you think you have? Stop living the same year 40, 50, 60, 70 times and call it a life. All we have is this moment. If you must look back, do it forgivingly. If you must look forward, do it prayerfully. However, the wisest thing you can do from all the gurus I have ever studied is to be present in the moment gratefully. Accept the present moment and find the perfection untouched by time. Here's a habit to get into. Focus your attention on the now. If you focused your attention on this very now, this instant, tell me what problems you have at the moment. Nothing. Nada. Nil. Live in the moment. Number 4, stop squashing your ideas. God is consciousness manifesting as your imagination. If you imagine it, you can achieve it. When we are thinking a new idea, we are thinking directly from the creativity of God. How do you think He gets things done? Through us. We are merely the instrument through which this projection takes place. We all have ideas we sit on, don't think they'll go anyplace, don't think anybody will be interested. So what? Stop squashing your ideas. They were put there by God to use, to help the world. Number 5, stop worrying so much. If your problem can be solved, there's no need to worry. If your problem can't be solved, worrying will do you no good. Replace, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me? Replace, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me? It's a game changer and much less worry. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. So fast from fear and feast on faith. Make that, if you don't remember anything else I said today, fast from fear and feast on faith. Fast from fear and feast on faith. Number 6, stop focusing on what you don't have and be grateful for what you do. Amen. In my inner city ministry, I hear the litany daily of what I don't have. And I often have to remind them of what they do have, and it could be worse. No matter how bad we have it, it always could be worse. Remember that saying, I used to cry because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet? Right. Again, sometimes you have to replace, why is this happening to me, with what is this trying to teach me? A game changer. Did you know that you actually can rewire your brain to be happy by thinking of 3 things you are grateful for every day for a month? Can't hurt to try. You can actually rewire your brain to be happy by thinking of something to be grateful for, 3 things for a month. We do the opposite every day, and look where that got us. Try that exercise, especially at night, just before you fall asleep. You'll be in the right REM cycle, and it'll just be indented into your brain. It'll become a part of your cellular structure. Number 7, stop spending time with the wrong people. There are billions of people on this planet, so enough to choose from. Stop hanging around with bloodsuckers. You know what I'm talking about. People will come and go in your life, but the person in the mirror will be there forever. So be good to yourself. I've taught the Louise Hay mirror work up here. Look in a mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. If you can't look in a mirror and say, I love you, keep trying till you do. Most time you look in the mirror, you start doing the mirror work, you look away, embarrassed. Well, don't do it in front of a crowd of people then. Do it in your own room. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. People will come and go in your life, but you're going to be there forever. Take care of the space within your own skin. In order to fly, in order to soar, you must learn to fly. F-L-Y. First, love yourself. First, love yourself. Then everything else can be added unto you. And it's never too late to begin this. Stop saying yes and putting your own needs on the back burner. It is okay to say no, Ginny. It is okay to say no. No draws a circle around you in chalk and says, I have given enough. It's time for me. It's time for me. It's okay to say no. And you know what? The greatest part about spiritual growth and learning all these things that people teach up here is when you can say no and not give a reason. No, thank you. Someone asks you to do something? No, thank you. You don't have to go on and give this explanation. No, thank you. Number 9, stop looking to others for happiness. If outside validation is your only source of nourishment, you will hunger for the rest of your life. Misery loves company. Bliss doesn't need any. It is much easier to love yourself when you are being yourself. Again, the importance of mirror work by Louise Hay. Go home today and look in the mirror until you can say, I love you, I love you, I love you, without blinking or turning away. Remember, in the end, people are mostly thinking about themselves anyhow. It may hurt to imagine that you aren't anyone's first order of business, but you're not. It's a great release, actually, to be yourself and free. Accept yourself, because in accepting yourself, you accept God mind, God's idea of you, if you accept yourself. Be yourself always. Besides, everybody else is already taken. It's unscientific to try to be anybody else but yourself. Number 10, stop blaming others for your troubles. This is hard because the first 7 years of our life are impregnated into our subconscious, and it is the driver of what we do consciously now. This is not me talking, this is science. The first 7 years of your life drive what you do now. From your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your teachers. Mr. Rogers. If you had a great 7 years, you're doing okay. If not, you have work to do. And there's plenty of books out there on how to heal your subconscious, because everything is a driver. Our conscious life is driven by our subconscious. And if that's all muddled, It needs to be cleaned out because your life will be muddled. So forgive whatever happened in your past and go from there. There's a lot of exercises out there. If you're not finding satisfaction in your life, I can bet you it comes from your subconscious memes. Change your memes, change your life. So why am I telling you all this? I need you. I need you. I need a better version of you, a stronger, more resilient version of you to help stem the tide of racism and disconnect for the poor in this country. I mean, my God, we have a for-profit concentration camp in our country right now. My heart is broken, but not defeated. But I need your help. You can't be part of the solution if you are part of the problem. You cannot reach out and help if you need help. Make yourself the brightest, best, most put-together person, and then give it all away. It's like this. When you are carrying a cup of coffee and somebody bumps you, you spill coffee or tea or milk or whatever was in the cup. So we have to ask ourselves, when life gets tough, what spills out? Anger, resentment, blame, or courage, strength, gratitude, fortitude. You get to choose to fill your cup with only good stuff. And then when you hit a bump in the road, only good stuff spills out. That's nothing you can learn from a lesson up here. I or anybody who stands up here can give you. This is work you need to do for yourself. Mother Teresa said, if you can't feed the whole world, then feed the person next to you. It's that simple. Helen Keller said, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Ralph Waldo Emerson, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty and find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has succeeded because of you, or breathe easier because of you. This is to have succeeded. When you create a difference in someone else's life, you not only impact their life, you impact everyone influenced by them throughout their lifetime. There are so many opportunities to be the change you want to be. Abe Lincoln once said, I have the irrepressible desire to live until I can be assured the world is a little better for having had me in it. You know, you don't have to do great things. You have to do little things with a great heart. Little acts of kindness. That's all it takes. Inconsequential things that you do it from a kind heart. I remember there was, when I would take people to the Salvation Army to sign up for food, to go to the different food pantries, there was a gentleman sitting behind the desk who had a Dallas Cowboy shirt on every single time I took people there. The two gals that also helped had Green Bay Packers shirts on, so there was a little dig every once in a while, especially if I went on a Monday after a Packer game. And you know, I didn't get involved in it. But anyhow, one day I'm in Walgreens. I live in Waterford, and Tony Romo from the Dallas Cowboy, his parents live in Waterford. They used to live in Burlington, and now they live in Waterford. So I said, Ramiro, I need an autograph from Tony when you see him next. He said, no problem, Ginny. Well, 2 days later, I got a bunch of autographs. Said, thanks, Tony Romo. So I imagine he kept them at his house for just such occasions. I put one in a frame. I took it down the next time I went to Salvation Army and gave it to the gentleman. You would have thought I gave him $1 million. Just something off the top of my head when I saw Ramiro at the Walgreens. Just, oh, do you have a picture? You would have thought I gave him $1 million. The captain even came down from upstairs and thanked me. I said, hey man, it's just a picture. But that's the kind of thing. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the woman's suffrage advocate, author, writer, conservationalist, who the school in Parkland, Florida is named after, by the way, said, "Be a nuisance where it counts. Do your part to inform and stimulate the public to join your efforts. Be depressed, discouraged, and disappointed at the failure and the disheartening effects of ignorance, greed, corruption, and bad politics, but never give up. Call your representative, state and federal, or send a postcard." And the reason I say in a postcard, because the girl I work with worked for the post office. She says, since the anthrax thing, if you send a letter to your representative, that gets thrown into clear an anthrax bin, nothing's ever seen. A postcard gets delivered right to their desk. Send a postcard demanding we end at least the concentration camp at our border, or whatever other injustice you think you need to. After all, we're here to be a part of the solution, not the problem. We can do something, even though we feel helpless. We can do something. We can do our part. That's why we incarnated. Yes, thank you. That's why we incarnated at this time in history. We incarnated to be the solution, not the problem. I'm going to end with a Franciscan benediction. Oh, and by the way, that meditation I did came from a woman I met several times. You might know her, Marianne Williamson. I saw her last year at UWM. She was part of a lecture series, and I had never seen her before. I mean, I'd seen her in Chicago a couple times, and I had never talked to the woman, actually, but she was crying through most of it. And she was bewildered at the state of our government. And what did she do? She didn't do a little act of kindness. She dropped everything and is running for President of the United States. That's right. That's right. So that's amazing to me. And she could have stayed writing books and touring and making lots of money, but her consciousness demanded she run for President of the United States. I will end with a Franciscan benediction. Don't know where I got this, but I will end with it. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and to turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all our children and the poor. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.